Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of SacTown Movie Buffs. Once again, I'm Kier, and this is Jason. And today we are continuing our new series, which is our indie films of the week. So this will be our second film within that series. Today we are going to actually be reviewing a comedy special, which is actually Demarcus Cousins presents Boogie's Comedy Slam. So if you don't know who Demarcus Cousins is, he's an NBA player. He's played it for many different teams. He was with Sacramento for quite some time, Lakers, and a lot of different other teams. And basically, he kind of put together this comedy special called Boogie's Comedy Slam, and we are going to talk about that. And without further ado, I say we kind of get right into it, man. So let's get right into it. I'll go ahead and take this one on. Right. So Boogie's Comedy Slam is basically a comedy special. It's a little bit over hour running time. I don't remember the exact running time.
Hour and 11 minutes.
Well, there you go. Hour and 11 minutes. So, yes, thank you. So,
that's great here.
Yeah. So hour and 11 minutes is the comedy special. And there's obviously a host of different performers that they have at most of these comedy slam specials that they do. So the host was Mike Epps, who's probably the most famous of everybody else that was on the showcase. There was also Gary Owens, Carlos Miller, Tony Roberts, and Red Grant. Most of the guys I had actually heard of before. A lot of them I had seen just from like BET's Comic View that had been in the past. Gary Owens was actually a host for I think a year or something of that nature. So I'd seen most of them. The only one that I hadn't seen was Carlos Miller. So overall, like I said, Mike Epps was the host, and then Carlos Miller, who I'd never actually heard of before, but in my opinion, I actually thought he was the funniest of the showcase, just in my personal opinion. I think I got the most laughs with him. He was really funny, had a lot of different topics that he covered, anything from, the LGBTQ community, which he called Elemental P, which a lot of people say because they have a lot of acronyms for that organization. He had a lot of different very funny jokes. I got a lot of laughs out of him. I thought he was pretty funny. In my opinion, Mike Epps is always pretty funny. Obviously, he was more of the host, so he didn't do like a whole long stand-up bit. He would just do a couple jokes in between the comedians. But I thought he was funny also. There was also Red Grant, who I've seen before. He's normally really, really funny. I thought he was okay. I got a few laughs out of him. He told a lot of jokes. Most of his jokes was mostly about like going to the club and getting sick and feeling like you're getting ready to like vomit kind of thing. So he spent a lot of
entire thing pretty much.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time on that. So I mean, I did laugh, but at some point I was just like, kind of waiting for him to kind of maybe transition and maybe kind of tell a few different kind of jokes. But he kind of, kept it going with that for, I felt like a little bit longer than needed to be personally. And then obviously there was also Gary Owens, who is the white comic of the group. So he's usually really, really funny. I thought he was pretty funny here. There was nothing like, amazing. He talked mostly about like sports, and the show was actually filmed in the Bay Area. There were a lot of like Golden State Warriors, because I believe Demarcus Cousins was actually playing for the Warriors at the time of the filming of it. So there was a lot of Golden State Warriors in the audience, and so they joked around with them. He spent a lot of time talking about like, the Oakland Raiders and the San Francisco 49ers and the differences between their fans and stuff like that. So it was great for me because I'm a sports guy. So for me, it was pretty funny. I think if you weren't necessarily a sports guy, you would probably still get it, because just knowing the difference between the two cities, between Oakland and San Francisco, there's always different types of stereotypes. So his jokes were pretty funny. And then Tony Roberts closed the show. I've heard of him. I didn't know him quite as much. In my opinion, I thought he was maybe the least funniest in my opinion. But I still had some laughs, but I don't know. Some of his jokes just kind of either went over my head or just didn't kind of resonate with me, I guess, personally. But overall, I enjoyed it. Like I said, for me, I love comedy. For me, it's like during the week, or when the weekend's over, one of the things that, I like to do if it's just, me and my fiance, we just like to hang out and watch, different types of comedy specials, Dave Chappelle, that kind of stuff, like on a Friday or Saturday night. So just like laughing. So, for me, a comedy special is always great. And we definitely got a lot of good laughs out of it. So overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty funny. Like I said, anytime there's 4 or 5 comedians on a showcase, obviously some are going to be funnier than others, but I thought overall I got laughs out of everybody. I laughed at least a few times from every single comedian that was represented, and overall I thought it was a good show. What was your thoughts, Jason?
I first of all, I will say I'm not really the audience for this because you're a big comedy fan, stand-up comedy fan,
right?
I don't dislike stand-up comedy, but it's just not something I gravitate toward. If I'm looking for something to watch, it's going to be a movie, or it's going to be a show,
right,
or it's going to be a documentary, or it's probably, for me, even going to be like, a concert film or live music or something. I would go to one of those things usually before comedy. It's just not something that I go to. Now, when I do watch comedy, I've seen a lot of great comedy. It's just not something I gravitate toward,
right.
And especially in this case, so much of the humor is sports centered, and I'm not. I don't watch any sports. It's just not my thing. Right. So I got 2 things that are really not my thing combining in one. So but still, in spite of that, I will say that like I do think I have a pretty good handle on what's funny, and of course it's subjective, different for everybody. Right. But I will say that I don't think it was a good thing that. Granted, I didn't get a lot of the sports jokes really, but I think for an hour and 11-minute comedy special, I think I laughed about 3 times. Okay. So that's not a good average, I don't think, really. So, and I think at least 2, maybe all 3 of those were Carlos Miller, the very first guy.
Yeah, I'll definitely admit that he was definitely the funniest in the showcase. I mean, I get it. I mean, these guys are not, the kings of comedy or any of that kind of stuff. They're not up and they're not up there with like, the upper echelon with like, the Dave Chappelles and the Chris Rocks and that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? So, and also, when your time is limited, you got to bring it. You know what I mean? If you're only given like 10 to 15 minutes of time, you're gonna have to bring it during that set. You know what I mean? And I agree. It was definitely uneven in some parts. I laughed a little bit through everybody. You know what I mean? Personally, I thought everybody had something, so I did get some laughs. The first guy, Carlos Miller, I think I got the most laughs from. But some of the other ones I got a little less laughs, of course. And like you said, and with like Red Grant, I felt like he spent a little bit too long, in my opinion, on the throwing up after the club. It was kind of like after some point I was like, okay, we get it. You know what I mean? Like it's So definitely
that's a funny idea. That's a funny idea to base a routine on. Right. But I thought it was a funny idea to base a routine on, but I didn't think it was a funny routine. You know,
that's fair enough. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I overall enjoyed it. I mean, I'm a sports guy, obviously. So for me, I got the references, and they also made some jokes just about the Warriors and that sort of stuff. And if you don't follow the sports, and there's definitely would have been some jokes that would have definitely went over people's head. There was a joke about Matt Barnes driving to go beat somebody up, and you wouldn't have got that joke because you'd have to really be into sports to understand what happened there. So, and I got that joke. So it was funny to me because I totally got it because I knew exactly what that situation was about. But if someone that wasn't a sports guy watched it, then you might have some issue. But I also don't think that that's the audience they were going for. I mean, I think if you were tuning in and paying for it's on Amazon Prime. I think if you were tuning in and you're paying for a comedy special on Amazon Prime, I think you're going to pay for it based on either knowing these characters or knowing these stand-up hosts and knowing kind of what they're all about, I think. So I think that's a fair thing to say as well, because even if you like stand-up comedy, I mean, everybody has their preference. You know what I mean? Like everybody has different types of stand-up comedy they gravitate towards. Like me personally, I wouldn't watch like the Jeff Foxworthy get her done guy. You know what I mean?
Larry the Cable Guy. Well, that's redneck stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch that stuff. You know what I mean? But there's a sector of people that'd be like, man, this stuff's hilarious. This is funny. You know what I mean? Like, they would laugh at that kind of stuff. Me personally, I wouldn't get it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's definitely knowing your audience. And I'm not going to say that, comedy about sports and sports related stuff, or, even the subject matter that some of these guys covered is going to resonate with everybody. But I don't know. I think funny's funny. I enjoyed it. I laughed. So I had a good time overall. So, but Jason didn't have as good of a time. So, well, at least it's short. It was only an hour and 11 minutes. So.
Yeah, I felt every minute of it too. No, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, with that said, we are a movie review, and a lot of days these people, I consider comedy specials, can be reviewed as movies as well. So I guess I'll start with you. Obviously, you didn't love it, so I guess I'll ask what's your overall grade and the face you would give Boogie's Comedy Slam.
Okay, so laughing 3 times in 71 minutes, I probably should give it no stars, really. But in allowance to the fact that I recognize that it's not my thing, stand-up comedy or sports, especially stand-up comedy about sports mostly, then I'll give it 2 out of 5. I'll give it 2 out of 5. So this face. I didn't have a great time. I'm happy for anybody that did, though.
Cool. Yeah, like I said, I definitely enjoyed it more than you did. I got enough laughs out of it to say that I enjoyed it. I can't say that it was like the best stand-up showcase I've ever seen. I definitely hope that Boogie or Demarcus Cousins does another showcase. Maybe get a few different guys that are in there. You know what I mean? Maybe if it gets popular, you get a few more bigger stars in there as well. And maybe you go from there. But me personally, I'm actually going to give it a 3 out of 5. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I got enough laughs out of it. So 3 out of 5, and I'm going to give it this face, which is a smile and a little bit of teeth, because I did laugh. I did laugh. So definitely more than 3 times. So yeah, definitely. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. If Demarcus Cousins is watching, I would definitely urge you to do another show, but maybe mix up the lineup a little bit. Maybe see if you get a few other guys in there, and kind of go from there. So if you want to keep Carlos Miller, I enjoyed him the most, so definitely he would be great. So some of the other guys, so we'll see. But like I said, overall, good experience, and we'll be back again with another one of our. We're doing this series, as I said, which will be our Indie of the Week. So this is the second film of that series. So definitely stay tuned for our next show whenever we do that. And then, of course, we're also going to be doing other movie reviews as well. As always, if you like the channel, we do ask that you give us a big thumbs up. Give us a big like, leave us some comments down below, and of course subscribe. And then of course always hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our updates or uploads. We thank you guys for watching, and we'll be back again with another show soon, and we hope you all have a great day. Bye.